Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Cartalia. Here are some of the stories WJZ is working on this afternoon.
Hey everyone, Jonathan McCall here with WJZ. We are in West Baltimore near the Gilmore homes. Everyone obviously knows what happened here back in 2015. We're taking a look into a new report from the NAACP that's looking into how incidents like Freddie Gray, Michael Brown impacted a number of cities across the country and the racial inequality that comes along with it. How those cities, St. Louis, Baltimore, and Charlotte, are still dealing with the lingering impacts of social unrest, police brutality, all while trying to deal with economic inequalities as well as a number of other inequalities facing those communities. We'll break down the details of this report from the NAACP that's coming out later today on WJZ.
Here we go again. Baltimore is gearing up for another blast of winter weather. I'm Kimberly Eaton. I'm in the car with my photographer right now. We just left a State Highway Administration facility where they make some of the brine that's going to treat the roads around Baltimore. In fact, right now we're driving on 795. This will be one of many highways that gets treated primarily with that brine mix. Coming up tonight on WJZ Online and on air at 5 and 6. We'll tell you more about how crews are out in full force getting ready for the latest blast of winter weather.
We're here with Baltimore State Senator Jim Broshin, who is proposing that off-duty Baltimore County police officers who are working in uniform off-duty wear body cameras. And let's talk a little bit about your reasoning behind that.
Well, Pat, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like having a witness to what's going on, and that's a big deal. And the example that we use is what happened last summer in Catonsville, where an officer was moonlighting in a secondary job in security, wearing a Baltimore County police uniform, saw somebody shoplifting, went after them in the parking lot. At the time that they went after them in the parking lot, the law stipulates that now they really become a police officer again, and they're engaging them as a police officer. Suspect jumped into the car, tried to drive away. Officer had his hands out on the car, and the guy was dragging him. Officer pulled out his weapon and shot and killed the suspect. We don't have great footage of that. The state's attorney at the hearing showed footage of the security cameras at the shopping center, but to have an actual witness right there seeing what happened, it validates everything. It validates it for a police officer, because the police officer could say, look, I told you, this is exactly how it happened, and it just makes things more clear-cut. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody these days, even people that were dubious about body cameras, saying that at the end of the day that they don't provide equal justice, because they do. And the equal justice part really shouldn't just be when you're on duty as a Baltimore County police officer, but if you're moonlighting, you've been given permission to moonlight, and you're in that uniform, the public and the officer should have the protection of that camera as well.
Senator Broshin, thank you. We will have more on this story and others tonight on WJZ.
I'm Alex Dimitrik at City Hall, where Baltimore school students are showing up to rally against styrofoam. A bill is currently before the City Council that would ban the product, and this time around it looks like it might have a shot. More on WJZ and WJZ.com.
Hey everyone, Rick Ritter here with WJZ. This is now the second week of the Korryn Gaines trial. Just to quickly rehash, if you haven't been following, we'll bring you up to speed real fast. Back in 2016, Gaines, a 23-year-old mother, she barricaded herself inside her Randallstown apartment with her 5-year-old son. It ended after a 6-hour standoff, and police fatally shot Gaines and they injured her little boy, Cody. Well, now we're in a wrongful death lawsuit. Korryn Gaines' family is seeking $4 million from the county and some of the officers that were involved in this standoff. Yesterday, we heard powerful testimony from Gaines' father, who said he was actually gathered at a local church when all of this was playing out. And he said he became frustrated because he was inside for so long, and officers kept reassuring him, hey, everything's going to be okay. He said it wasn't until he came outside and he actually ran into a news reporter who told him his daughter had been shot and killed. Now, we also heard from Gaines' cousin, who said that he heard from Officer Royce Ruby Jr., the man who fired the fatal shot that killed Gaines shortly after all this played out. And he said Officer Ruby Jr. told him, hey, I was frustrated. It was hot out there, and I'm not going to be able to sleep for weeks because of this. Now, a lot of people are wondering if Officer Ruby Jr. will take the stand. We thought that might happen last week. We'll certainly see if it happens this week. A lot of people have an interest in that to see if it actually happens. But we are back on this story again. We're going to head up to the courtroom right now. We'll have a lot more on this on WJZ coming up at 5 and 6 o'clock tonight.
Much more on these stories coming up on WJZ at 4, 5, and 6.